Today's topic is terms. This is related to literature for classes 5th to 8th. The first topic is syllables. Syllables are sounds that make up a word. Each syllable makes a sound of its own. All syllables have a vowel sound. For example, noise. In this word, O-I, it has one syllable. Means the noise word is one syllable. In shadow, sha and do, so two syllables. Powerful, powerful, so it has three syllables. Word stress. When you say a word, you pronounce some syllables with more focus or stress than others. For example, adventure. Here in this word, you will notice that the pitch of your volume goes up when you read the second syllable when. Other examples are box, present, table. Guide words. A dictionary usually has guide words at the top of each page, showing the first and the last words listed either on that page or on that double page spread. For example, if you have opened a dictionary, you will notice that on top there will be some words which is used as guide words, which will help you that in that page which letter is words are there. Prefix and suffix. When a letter or group of letters added before a word, it is called prefix. For example, I am is added before possible, it becomes impossible. DIS is added before order, it becomes disorder. When a letter or a group of letters added to the end of the word, it is called suffix. For example, wake plus ing, it becomes waking. Shame plus ed, shamed. Create plus ion, creation. Rhyme scheme. Rhyme scheme is the pattern in which the rhyming lines in a stanza or a poem are arranged. For example, you can look at this one stanza is given and the last word of all the lines you can read. If you are asked to give directions to a strange unknown place, don't feed or frown, nor pull that puzzled face. So you can see at the last word of each sentence, some rhyming sense is there. A pattern is given like place, face, like that. So direction, it is that same pattern is not followed. Same rhyming line, word is not there. So it's A. Then place, it is B. Then frown, it is not same like the A and B. So C. And face, face is matching with place. So it's B. Stanza form. A stanza is poetry. A stanza in poetry is a set of lines grouped together as a unit. It is usually set off from another stanza by a blank line. It may or may not use regular rhyme patterns. I hope we have already studied so many poems in our school, in our classes. So I hope you all know what is stanza. And here one example is there. 4 to 5 lines will be there and then a blank line. Then the next stanza comes. Rhythm. A regular repeated pattern of sound, words or movement. All poetry does not rhythm, but most poetry has rhythm. So it is also a pattern of sound, words, or movement which is similar. Mostly it's used in poetry. Synonyms and antonyms. Synonyms are words or phrases that mean exactly or nearly the same as another word or phrase. For example, argue. There are other words also for argue: protest, dispute, quarrel, disagree. One more example is shut. Please shut the door. Please close the door. Another term is an antonym is a word that means the opposite of another word. For example, bad, good, risky, safe, departure, arrival. So another name for opposite is antonyms. Homophones and homonyms. Homophones are words that sound the same but are spelled differently. For example, can you see the sea? No, no. Break, break. There are different meaning for these words, but the sound is same, spelling is also different. Homonyms are words that sound and are spelled the same but have a different meaning. If you rock the boat, we might hit that rock. See, the rock meaning here, both are different, but the word is same and spelling is same. Bank, river bank, and another bank is a place where money is kept. Our next topic is tone. The tone or the voice of a poem is the poet's attitude towards the subject or audience. Here, the poet's attitude towards the subject, that the poem which he is writing, it has a tone or a voice. Means that poem can be sad, angry, it can be funny, it can be a peaceful one, or it can be a comedy one. So it depends on the tone of the poet's attitude. For example, in fact, from an entry of 62 teams, the ants came their usual last. This is a poem from your text. Here the poem, it's a funny tone because 62 teams were there and one team was of ants. Mood. Mood is a literary element that evokes certain feelings or vibes in readers through words and description. For example, cheerful, gloomy, romantic, tense, lonely, and etc. Here, the reader is having a feeling. When he reads that poem, he feels he's sad, or he's tense, he feels romantic, or he feels cheerful. That is called mood. Plot. Plot is literally used to describe the events that make up a story or the main part of story. These events relate to each other in a pattern or a sequence. It will be useful as we move on in your further classes. Descriptive, narrative, and lyric poetry. First one is descriptive poetry. A poem which evokes rich imagery in the reader's mind and engages all their senses through its rich description is called descriptive poetry. A narrative poem tells a story about an experience or a character, and a lyric poem is one in which the poets express the emotions and feelings about something. It could also represent the state of a poet's mind. Anagrams. Anagrams are words made by rearranging the letters of another word. Yeah, some examples are given. PACES, it makes space. Imagery. Imagery is a technique used by poets to create vivid images and experiences by engaging all the senses of the reader. There are different types of imagery used for this purpose, such as visual, what we see; olfactory, what we smell; auditory, what we hear; gustatory, what we taste; kinesthetic, sense of movement; tactical, what we touch or feel; and thermal, sense of temperature. Idioms. An expression whose meaning is different from the meaning of the individual words in it. For example, beat around the bush. It means avoid saying what you mean, usually because it is uncomfortable. Some more examples are there, you can go through it. Proverb. A short, well-known sentence or phrase that gives advice or says that something is generally true in life. For example, honesty is the best policy. No man is an island. All that glitters is not gold. Ode. Odes are usually written in praise of someone or something. The word ode is derived from the Greek word odi, which means to sing. You'll be having some poems in your further classes. Some examples are Ode to Autumn by John Keats, Ode to Solitude, Alexander Pope, To a Skylark, P.B. Shelley. Summary and appreciation. A summary is a literary device where you represent a shortened version of a text without changing its meaning. It can be said that a summary is an expression in brief of a longer text. Summary is used mostly for stories, novels. You can shorten that and you can make your own and write that topic. But in appreciation, after reading a poem, when we write it down in our own short words without changing its meaning, it's called appreciation. So for poem it is appreciation, and for stories and novels it is summary. Punctuation. Punctuation is the correct use of various stops and marks in writing of a meaning of a sentence or passage clear. Types of punctuation. Comma. A comma is used to indicate the shortest pause. Semicolon. It indicates a bigger pause than that represented by a comma. Colon. It represents a pause that represented by a semicolon. Full stop. The longest of all the pauses. Full stop is used when a sentence gets over. Mark of interrogative. It indicates the end of a question. Mark of exclamation. It indicates the end of the exclamatory word sentence. Dash. It is used to separate words in a statement. Here are some of the punctuation and their mark. You can go through it, read it out. It is useful for your further classes. Thank you.